Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy Friday morning. Apologize for our tardiness. Had a little computer restart there, I guess we'll have to call it, rebooting. But we're back and we're here. What's up, everybody? What a great night last night at Amalie Arena. Steven Stamkos becoming the all-time leading scorer for your Tampa Bay Lightning. And maybe more importantly, they flipped that freaking switch. And boom, there you go. 8-1 win for a red-hot Toronto team without Austin Matthews. I get it. They've been winning without him. They won 8 of their last 10. But last night they got bitch slapped by the two-time defending champions. Let's just say what it is. That's what happened last night on ESPN national television. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find more at Palermo, PA. Nick Dennis, Outkick.com, joining me here this morning. Were you not entertained last night? As I said to the 20,000 strong last night, are you not entertained?
A little mildly entertained last night.
Mildly entertained.
Hockey game.
Wow! If you were there, you would have felt the burn. It was quite the night.
When I left here yesterday after we previewed the game, I was like,
it just keeps going on.
Yeah, it was going on all night.
The foghorn was going off like somebody was just kicking it every 5 seconds. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, when I left here yesterday, I had to give him the crosstown, right? To go home. And I passed Emily and I looked over, and this is after we previewed it, and I was like, man, I kind of want to go tonight.
Yeah.
So I had it in my mind. I was going to go. And then I know what Casey would have said.
What?
We don't have money for that. We don't have money to go to games like that. Which I told her when I got to her house last night. I was like, I kind of wanted to go to the game tonight.
I honestly believe that you can walk up there on every regular season night and get a $30, $40 ticket.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It'd be a $30, $40 ticket.
That's not
that much.
But forgive me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm biased, but $30, $40 ticket for a Lightning game, to me, especially one where you're going to see Steven Stamkos become the all-time leading scorer, that's a history-making night and a big game with playoff implications. Toronto coming in. I mean, that's all. You get it all right there. It's not a playoff game, but it's as close as you're going to get for $30, $40. I mean, that's a great value. That to me is market priced. $45, or $100 for parking and two tickets in the upper deck at a Rays game for a regular season Red Sox game. That's ridiculous. That's not market value. People are not going to pay that, especially when they hate the owner. So no, but last night was not the. You almost got me off on a rant right there, but I'm not taking the bait.
I wasn't trying to send you on a rant. I was just telling you how my night went.
I know. The wind can blow. I can go on Sternberg.
I gotta learn. There's certain.
I'm joking. I'm making a shot at myself.
There's certain keywords I guess I need to leave out of my.
No,
my
it's all my fault.
now.
It's all my fault. I'll go. I just get there. That's all there is to it.
Point is, I wanted to go to the game.
Yes,
you
should have gone.
I had the wherewithal to know that Casey was going to shoot me down anyway, and we watched the game at night, and we were not disappointed. 8 goals.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
No, they played really, really well last night, and more than the 8 goals, which is obviously stupendous. 4 goals in the second period, which tied the season high for goals in a period. It was just the way they played, the energy in which they played, defensively, how they played. I mean, they gave up a couple of opportunities, but that's Toronto. They're a really good hockey team right now, and I just love the way that the energy in which they played with. They were getting to loose pucks. They were winning those battles. They would not let Toronto out of their own end. They kept the pressure on time and time again, and they were rewarded. And it's just great to see them play with that type of energy and focus. And you didn't see this, for the most part, did not see a lot of stupid mistakes and stupid turnovers last night. And, and when we hear them talk about all week long, we got to, play the way we know how to play, don't do the stupid things. When we're working our system, we're playing the right way. Right now, we're not doing that. It kind of gets a little blah, 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 but it's true. And we saw it last night without Braden Point, by the way.
I was going to say,
without the math.
no graded point. It's a wash.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a straight up game. Toronto, bold enough, maybe a little disrespectful. I don't know. They decided to rest their starter, Jack Campbell, last night coming in against Tampa. Very little.
The backup kid's
there.
not been bad, though.
No, he has not been mad. But if I'm the Lightning,
Swedish rookie probably ain't seen nothing like that before.
No, he had to bite the bullet yesterday. He had to take one. But if I'm the Lightning, I'm looking for any type of motivation. I'm like, that team is going to see us in the playoffs, and they didn't even want to play their starter against us.
Yeah.
They didn't think they'd rather play him against Florida, because I'm sure they're probably making that Florida strand, or they were just there either way. But they came out first period. I don't think they played that great the first period. Nothing egregious though.
The Bolts?
Yeah. Nothing egregious.
I thought they played really well.
It was okay, but Toronto outshot them 14-7.
Yeah.
But Vasilevsky was sharp. I knew that early on, that Vasilevsky has showed up yesterday.
Yeah, he was locked in. But I when I looked up the shots after the first period, I was like, really? I was a little surprised that it was 14-7, because it felt more like 7-7, because it was 6-6 for a long time in that period. I think the last few minutes, that maybe Toronto put some shots on goal.
They had the two. I think they had the 2 or 3 power plays in the first period. That helped them get to the 14.
Yeah, true. And it just didn't seem like 5-on-5. I thought the Lightning were I won't say dominating, but I thought they were carrying play.
Yeah, it was nothing. Anything they gave up wasn't egregious, really.
And it was very tight checking. You know, the guys there was not a whole lot of time and space. Guys were skating hard, and they just played with a different level of intensity last night. And that's what I've been waiting to see. That, to me, more than anything, it's just, you can just see it. You feel it. You know, you just, okay, they flipped the switch. They're serious now. And last night, I think they just went out and said, okay, this is the team that we're supposed to be. Now, I didn't hear anybody talk about a players only meeting, but the fact of the matter is they didn't go out on the ice until late, and it was just a lot of the coaches. So I think there was some type of players only meeting, and whatever they said, whatever they did, it worked. To me, it seemed like that was as good a performance as I've seen maybe this year.
Yeah, they were in playoff mode, it felt like early on. McDonough was flying around, throwing the body. Maroon and Wayne Simmons were throwing the body at each other, and they've been flirting at this. And you probably
Did you see him chirping back and forth.
Yeah, and you couldn't see this on the ESPN telecast, but Leah Hextall had interviewed Wayne Simmons after the first period, and she's like, "I saw you jawing with Pat Maroon. Y'all have some history there. He called you I think a chicken or a baby or something like that, or soft. That's what it is." And Wayne Simmons was like, "I'm the one who's soft. Last time I checked, he hasn't fought me yet. So who's really soft? I think you should ask him." Yeah. And he walked into the dressing room, and then they got on though in the second period. I think
they did.
Finally,
they were laughing at
each other.
I love it. And last night it got really, really chippy.
It did.
Cirelli got popped pretty good.
Yeah, I was listening to
I think it was a little off balance, but it made it look worse than it was, because he got knocked down.
The last 15 minutes of the game dragged because the whistle was. Yeah. I mean, I was listening to it on the radio the third period. I was driving home, and I'm listening to Phil and Dave. And Dave and Phil were like, Phil's going after the refs, of course. And he's like, these refs have let it get out of hand, and this guy's everywhere. And they were handing out 10-minute misconducts and match penalties. Yeah. And they just wanted the game they just wanted to get as many people off the ice.
Yeah. And I left a little early, so I got home to watch the end on TV. And I hear the guys just complaining about this game's taking forever. And then Scott Van Pelt comes on and supports it. Hey, we're finally here. It's finally over in Tampa. Yeah. So, it felt like the third period took like an hour to play with all the stoppages.
They still scored 4 goals.
They still scored, I just a great performance last night. And of course the magical moment, Stamkos getting 954, and how appropriate, from his office, one-timer. That was fantastic. We got that one?
Yes.
This was good stuff.
Bounds with Shalgren. As Hedman has it straight away, sets up Kucherov. One-timer, score! Yeah. There it is! Steven Stamkos is now the all-time points leader in Tampa Bay Lightning history. A one-time drive on the power play. He passes Marty St. Louis and stands alone in the Lightning record books.
How fitting that the franchise record point is on a vintage one-timer by one of the best in the NHL that's done it.
Yes. What a pass.
Terrific puck
What a
movement
setup.
here by the Lightning. Exposing the seam. Kucherov finds Stamkos, who stays loose. And more often than not, he gets a lot on those one-timers, and he gets enough on that one to get it past Shulgren. And what a feeling.
Yeah, that was exactly appropriate for that moment. And my brethren at Lightning Vision had a great video cooked up to celebrate, and then the next time out, which I put up on our Twitter. I can't see it. It's it's kind of on the big board from a distance, but you get the gist of it. Just all of the highlights. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, but do you remember when he was drafted, the scene Stamkos?
Yeah.
The whole thing. There's still one bumper sticker that remains. And if you're driving, and a lot of Lightning fans will go, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So if you're driving in front of the convention center heading north, coming from Harbor Island, there's an electrical box right there at that particular at Platt Street. Street, right to your left, there's an electrical box, and you look to your left, and it says "Seen Stamkos," and it's still in great shape.
It needs to be preserved.
It is. Somebody, I don't know how, somebody needs to put lacquer on that thing. You don't want to take it off.
Yeah,
but just put lacquer or somehow preserve it. Yeah, but it's sitting there right there, and that's what. How many years has he been? What is this? 14th year?
That's 14 years.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, right? 14 years feels like he's been here forever.
Yeah.
Still only 31 years old.
And having a tremendous
Hell of a season.
I mean, this is the best season he's had probably since 60.
Yeah.
I think.
He
You can make that case.
He might be the most healthiest he's been since 60,
absolutely,
to be honest.
yeah.
And
What a shame he did not get to go to the Olympics this year.
it is a shame.
That's
It is a
just
shame that
awful.
he never got a chance to play in those Olympics. He just for whatever every 3 years there was an issue there that happened with him.
Yeah, broken leg or something. It was always
And even like the grand scope of his career, which is already incredible, becomes the all-time leader in points. Last night I couldn't help but think about what it could have been without the injuries. I mean, he had maybe the equivalent of 2 to 3 years taken off his career when it comes to injuries.
Yeah.
Imagine where he'd be right now. He'd be well into the 1,000-point plus plateau. He'd be probably chasing 600 goals, not 500 goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
But from a guy who you said seen Stamkos, the marketing campaign, Barry Melrose infamously saying he's not ready to play in the NHL, he's too small, and threatening to send him to the minors, and then turning into 60 goals 3 years later, and here we are 10 years later, and I would say the best player in franchise history.
And it also takes me back to the moment about 4 years ago, maybe it was 4, maybe 5 years ago, when he was trying to decide where he's going to finish his career, and Toronto made a humongous push for him. Oddly enough, we're playing Toronto last night, his hometown, and everybody, of course, everybody in the hockey universe up there and every major publication, of course, Stamkos is going there. They have a very lucrative deal. I think they offered him $3 million more a year than the Lightning were offering. And then Yzerman went to him and said, look at from a tax standpoint and from a cost of living standpoint, you're actually going to make more money here or keep more money here than you would in Canada. And then I remember having a conversation with Dave Andrechuk, and I said, what also played in Toronto. I said, what did you tell Stamkos about playing hockey in Toronto? He said it's they're the greatest fans in the world. I'm paraphrasing, but your life is not your own. You can't go to the gas station, you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go anywhere. People are just mobbing you everywhere you go because they're fanatically crazy about hockey. That doesn't happen here. Not that we're not fanatically crazy. We're just, I don't know. We don't do that.
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe. These guys have their own lives. They can do whatever they want. It's more normal here.
It's less pressure.
Less pressure. No question about it. No question about it. But I mean, for most hockey players growing up, that is just, it's counterintuitive. You don't say no to Toronto. You don't want, you want to play for the Canadians. You want to play for the Maple Leafs. These storied franchises. But, Stammer, to his credit, looked at, everything being equal, probably took a lot of emotion out of it and said, this is where I need to be. And it was the best decision of his career. I don't think, without question, I don't think he's sitting here with 2 cups if he goes to Toronto.
No.
But for whatever reason, that, they're just a dysfunctional franchise. They can't do it in the postseason. And so now he sits here as the, making a decision that was not about money. And it's one of the things people, they ask me, and when I'm mentoring anybody or giving anybody advice, I'm always, do never make a decision in your career based on money. Never, ever, 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 ever. It's about quality of life. It's about quality of the organization you're working for. It's so much more than about money. And Stamkos, he did that, and it paid off big time for him. I don't think there's any question.
And that deal specifically in 2016, shunning Toronto for sunny Tampa Bay, which still I think had that kind of reputation. Like, why would you go to Tampa Bay to play hockey?
Yep.
I can say and argue that that was a turning point in getting rid of that, to be honest. And guys, veterans,
absolutely,
and veterans particularly, like we've seen every year, have said, man, if I want to go win a Stanley Cup, I guess I can go play in Tampa Bay. You could say the same thing about Florida. It helped Florida as well. When you look at Joe Thornton, who still is trying to win a Stanley Cup, I'm going to go spend my 42-year-old year age in Florida this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he changed the entire game when it regards to trying to win a Stanley Cup.
And I think also for the Lightning franchise, he set the tone as the captain, taking less money. Hedman took less money. Kucherov took less money. Everybody's taken less money than they've been able to get on the open market or would get on the open market to stay in Tampa Bay. And I firmly believe it's because Stamkos set that standard. When the top guy does it, it kind of filters down to the rest of the organization. So, and that's, Brady is another great example of that. And what do those two guys have in common? Championships. So, I don't bemoan guys going out and chasing the money in the NFL. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, all those guys. Especially for guys like Tyreek Hill who already have a Super Bowl ring. I don't bemoan that at all. But if winning is really prioritized in your life and you really want to win championships, well, then that's the sacrifice in a salary cap league, whether it be the NFL or the NHL. That's a choice you have to make. And it's, whatever your priorities are, they are. But to me, I'll take the Stamkos Brady model over the Tyreek Hill chasing the money model. And no disrespect to him whatsoever. No disrespect. I get it. And maybe they'll win a title in Miami. I don't know. Who knows? But I bet there's a lot better chance of him winning another title in Kansas City. But again, he already has one. So, to each his own. But Stamkos, I think he was one of the first. I can't remember another athlete, quite frankly, besides Brady, doing that. And again, that set this franchise up for keeping their core together, which that legacy still remains. Guys are still. Braden Point took less money.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that
might be his greatest legacy. That legacy led to those two Stanley Cups,
which is why he's probably the most important player in the history of the franchise,
without question.
Because without question, if he bolts to Toronto or wherever at the time, the Lightning, rather than ascending, are descending. Yeah, there's zero doubt about it. And we're not sitting here today with two Stanley Cups chasing a third.
No, I totally agree. And again, this is not ceremonial, playing out your career. That's 34 goals. He's leading the team in scoring.
Yeah,
this is not some Yellow Brick Road goodbye tour of Elton John. It'll be here Sunday night. Anybody have any tickets they want to float my way? But I'm here. Just DM me. But I ain't paying $500. Sorry,
$500
for a seat, but in the lower level, $500. Upper level, $350.
Didn't Elton John lose his voice like 20 years ago?
Kind of.
So why would I want to go see a half-done Rocket Man? Really?
It's auto-tuned. It'll sound good.
$500.
They'll make it sound good. He's a legend. Come on. But 500's a bit. That's a bit over the top. I don't know.
You know what? Instead of going to that, get your ass to the Trop this weekend. All you people out there that are prepared to spend $500 to go see Elton John at 70, 80 years old, get your ass to the Trop.
Yeah, really. I don't know about that, but listen, that's going to be a good. This is where I get really torn, and we're going to get to the Rays in the next segment, so I don't want to step over. And Doug Wechter is going to join us at 11:15. This is what tears me apart. It tears me apart. I want to go to the Trop. I want to go see baseball games. But just emotionally, I can't do it.
I set you off on another tangent again.
All right. Well, shelve that. Because we have some things to talk about in that realm.
I just wanted to stick that in there. God. But back to the Lightning, please.
So we're such a roll with the Stamkos thing, man. That was a great topic to talk about.
Keep going.
And then you did that. All right, so Stamkos gets 954 last night. The guys flipped the switch. It's a big night at Amalie Arena last night. We got a bunch of goals to list to. Let's just You just start firing them off. They were all so much fun and
we'll
interesting in their own right.
We'll do the second period onslaught here, which is really what
got things going.
Changed the tide here. Here's Killorn right away.
Killorn with a little tip in.
Edmund,
right dirty goal.
Chernak shoots, missed the net. Wide right. Hagel picks it up left circle, bumps it left point to Hedman. Victor Hedman.
Is this power play?
Back for Hagel, center point.
No.
Right point, Chernak. Shoot, score! Alex Killorn! Edmund.
Yes, Alex Killorn. It was deflected. You are right, sir, Mr. Esposito. Nice get in front of the goal, dirty goal. They owned the front of the net last night against Toronto. And this is the thing about Toronto. Last night was a playoff type game, right? You can push them around.
They're
can push them around. They're soft. So, yeah. That's another goal right in front there. Nice shot by Chernak, too, getting it through.
Yeah, and speaking of right in front, the second goal, which other than the Stamkos goal, I loved this one because Nick Paul, who we've been talking about.
Love this play by him.
The effort here and Ross Colton fighting out in front.
I don't know if they picked it up. If they pick it up early here, we'll see, because that's the work on the walls was the key to this one.
Riley behind the Toronto net. Paul is all over him.
Yep.
Paul knocks him down.
Yes, he does.
Puck is grabbed by Corey Perry, right circle. Right corner, Paul.
Yes.
Paul, centering feed. Score!
Yes.
Ross Colton!
Yes. That's a playoff goal right there.
It is.
Nick Paul hounding the guys. He's trying to get out of the zone and shoves him into the wall. And I love it when they give them the body. There were a couple times last night, I forget exactly who it was, where a Toronto skater skating down the wall. He's got two skaters coming, to his right. And instead of taking the guy into the wall, like check him, like hip check him into the wall.
Yeah.
Take the body and you can't. He gave him time and space, backed up, stayed in front of him, but backed up, gave him time and space, and then he just feeds it across the ice. If he comes across the blue line and you hit him into the wall, that's what Chief says all the time. What's he got to do? He can't pass the puck now. The puck's just, it's a loose puck on the wall. But it's not, you're not hitting a guy in stride coming down the right wing. I mean, God, so anyway, but that was, I still think I would like to see the Lightning be a little bit more physical at the blue line.
Yeah,
especially.
They can. But this goal, too, we'll jump here past the Stamkos one, which you already played. The Kucherov goal, equally as impressive. Steven Stamkos.
Yes.
On this power play, hunting down Mitch Marner, who is 10 years younger than him, and a lot faster at this point in his career. And Stamkos put on the Jets, and he makes a hell of a play, not to take a penalty either, but to knock Marner down from behind, retrieve the puck, and they're off and racing. And here it was.
Yeah, that's a
Susan from behind knocks him down and steals it and flips it up ice. Perry,
nice.
On man rush. Corey Perry in the right wing, cross the blue line, right circle, Killorn, back for Perry, right circle, cuts in front, backhand shot, save made, rebound, Kucherov, backhand shot, score!
That was so good on both ends.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And that's the thing. The last few weeks, instead of catching him and taking the puck away, guys were 2 or 3 strides behind, right?
Yeah.
It was just that lack of intensity and effort because it's not playoff time yet. It just, you hate to say it, but it is what it is.
No, but it's relevant because we talked about Sergachev's play after the Detroit game where he was just kind of lollygagging behind after giving away the puck.
Yes.
And Stamkos, to his credit, I don't think he gave away the puck. It just was one of those things where Marner made a good play to get around there.
He took it away. Yeah.
But he got his ass up there and got it, and immediately just don't take your time. Just straight up put it over there. You got 3 guys ahead.
Yeah.
And Corey Perry, he's so good in those tight areas. Like that was such a subtle little move to the front to create the space and the mayhem in front, and Cooch just picks up the loose goods.
Yeah, and Cooch was, above the circle when that kind of started happening. And to his credit, he went down in the area
get dirty
and got a little dirty. And he's got a great shot, obviously, but he's got great hands too around the net, and he can do that.
And he's turned up his play too.
Oh, he sure has.
I think it's 9 goals in 10 games, or 10 and 9, one of the two.
Yeah. No, he's been good. He's starting to get it back, and Vasi's starting to get it back. I thought he was locked in last night too. Shame he didn't get the shutout, but
yeah, I know. I want him to get the shutout, but it is what it is. It's a good confidence builder for him, which he definitely needed it. Yeah. He had the look in his eyes like, I'm not losing this game. We're gonna have this one good. And Ross Colton is another guy who.
How about him? That's 3 in 2 games for him, and about, let me see, that would be 8. He was so that's 9 and 13.
Yeah,
for him.
I think 13 games ago, I saw he was sitting on like 11 goals for the year, or 13 goals.
Yeah, no,
and now he's
20.
and now he's like 22, I want to say, or 21. So he's turned into a pretty good forward himself, and they got those line combinations.
You get a
rolling.
guy in his second year scoring 20 goals.
You got something.
You got something there. I mean, that's Braden Point level. Second year, if I'm not mistaken, he had like 23 or 24. And last night they were 11-7 because Pointer was out. And I don't think that's serious. It was kind of a pregame injury. We don't know, but hopefully that's not serious. We don't need that. But anyway, great game last night. Let's hear from the captain, Steven Stamkos, on his monumental night.
It's just funny how things work out, right? I mean, to do it at home, against
Toronto.
the team that I grew up idolizing, and then having, Cooch and Hetty assist on a one-time shot. And then, my parents were here, my wife was here, to do it at home. I mean, it just, to have Marty come out and do that. I mean, I don't, really think of myself as an emotional guy, but that really hit me. And it was just an amazing experience for me to have, and, to be there with my teammates and the coaching staff and everyone. It's just an amazing feeling, something that you don't really know how to prepare for. Obviously I knew it was coming. It should have came a lot earlier in the game with some of the chances our line had, but and again, to do it in a really good game where we played well was certainly special.
And that's you want to keep that going?
It jumps to Killorn talking.
Okay, we can do that
if you say so.
Yeah, I mean, because he's going to talk about Stammer.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Definitely meant something to him. I think, when it happened, it was pretty emotional, and then it was probably even a little bit more emotional when Marty kind of did that thing on the Jumbotron and kind of handed it off to him. And, Marty was such a big part of Stammer's career on and off the ice. So it was a really cool moment to be a part of.
Yeah. How about a little hats off to John Franzone, my boss at Lightning Vision, and the people, Brian Briesman, the PR folks, being, heads up enough when Marty was here to get him to do that little video tribute and put it up there. That was special. That was a really, really nice touch that maybe a lot of organizations don't do. Maybe they do. I don't know, but it was a great touch. And that video was just really, really poignant. I would imagine they have it up on the website. If not, we'll find it. I put it up on my Twitter, but again, it's from a distance. Not really sure you can hear the audio, but
they got it on the website. And they don't miss with these videos. I mean, they did the one on Tyler Johnson like 3 weeks ago.
Nailed it.
You might have been cutting onions if you were in the arena.
Yeah. No, and a lot of work goes into that. We have an incredible staff that does these videos, and John Franzone is a big part of that. And it's why we have the best game presentation in the league, in my humble estimation. But a great night last night all the way around. We got some Cooper from last night at all.
Yeah, we got some Coop.
Let's hear Coop. Coop better not be salty Coop tonight. 8-1. It's a big night. You better be smiling.
Yeah, irony, right? It happens against the his hometown team, I guess, where he was from, and on a one-timer on the power play. So it's, I don't know, he's had a tendency to do his career, score goals in big ways. And it was what I thought about, the goal he scored in Dallas in the Cup final. It's just kind of that similar, he did it with a little flair, and so I was really happy for him.
Coach, is that the performance and what you were looking for at both ends of the ice tonight?
Yeah, if we got that on most nights, I'd really I really like a lot of things we did. Don't read too much into it. It was one game. A lot of things went our way. We earned a lot of our own breaks, but it's just one game.
You're a better team. You're engaged physically. That's an example.
Yeah, probably. The way we've played, some of the results we've gotten here probably in the last few weeks, we've been a little inconsistent. But, we play a team that's, I don't know, division rival, I guess. We've never really played in the playoffs, but a team we see a few times a year. And last time we played them in this building, the score wasn't as bad as Tights was, but it was very similar, just the other way. So I think we had a lot to play for tonight, just kind of defending our home turf a little bit against a really good Leafs team. And I know they were missing a 60-goal scorer, but it was a good effort by us. So hopefully we can continue this.
You're missing Braden Point too. Like, how is he, or is he?
He ain't got 60 yet.
Yeah, he should be. We're hoping he'll be back for Saturday.
How important was it after Tuesday's game? You talked about not sticking with the process after the first period, that you kind of stuck with it in the second period tonight.
Yeah, like the first period, but I think they outshot us like 15-7 or something like that. But I had a scoring chances like 2-1 for us. There was we had some juicy looks that we just didn't do anything with. But getting that first one, we built. It was good emotion in the building. I think guys were pulling for Stammer as well. Hoping that was going to happen tonight. But we saw this game through to the end, and that's what I liked about tonight. It wasn't, play 2 good periods here and then take a period off. We played a complete game, and so that's just what we need more of, moving into the second season.
John, going 11-7 tonight, I know that's something that you said your group's been comfortable with in the past, but what do you think it is about this group that they are comfortable just switching like that on a quick whim there?
Yeah, listen, I've been here almost a decade. Can't believe I'm saying that, but and most of these players, a lot of them have too. So nothing we throw at them now is really new. They're pretty equipped with everything. So when came to us late, Pointer might not be able to play. Guys don't blink an eye, so we know what we're doing in that regard.
Coach, you had a good amount of redirections tonight. That only happens if you get people in front of the net. Was that a point of emphasis?
Yeah, and we haven't been doing that nearly enough. But I thought we were a pretty determined group tonight around their net, and we weren't just senselessly shooting pucks. We shot with a purpose, and sometimes that is, shooting for sticks, and they all don't go in. Tonight they went in for us. It was just one of those nights, and I'm sure they're looking at it the same way. As in an 82 game year, you're going to get a couple what they probably think is a dud for them. We'll take it.
Thanks to watch the video that Marty narrated.
Well, how could you not? I mean, I think the whole
team was watching.
The Leafs were glued on it too.
Yeah.
It was that's a big moment. Anytime you're going to be the franchise leader in an organization that's been around for 30 years, and have the guys, you're passing are Hall of Famers, and so it was a great moment, which is weird because I think, and hopefully I don't screw this up, I think on the same goal was that Kuch's 600th point. So we were looking for multiple pucks on that goal, but it was what an accomplishment. And he's got so much more left in the tank, but wow, that was I've had a front row seat to about 600 of those, and they never get old.
Well, a couple things in that press conference. Number one, Coop is coaching his team. He's not, but he's right. You can't praise these guys, because as soon as you do, as soon as they feel comfortable, and as soon as they feel, we're back, they lay an egg. They lay an egg. That's what they do. Unless they're in the playoffs, and then they sustain it. So, we'll see if they've flipped the switch for good. It may have been, okay, all right, we're good, we can do this, and then go back to, gliding a little bit as they finish the regular season. I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not the case, but I hope this is now, okay, we're done. We're done effing around. This is the way we're going to play. Get guys in front of the net, get sticks on pucks, just like he said. And, again, about the Leafs, I remember looking down on the ice while the video was playing, and every one of the players, there was no coaching going on. I mean, this is a big game. It's a big freaking game, right? And I know at that point, what was it, 4-0 at that point? But still, I mean, not out of reach, but okay, game might be over. But every one of the Leafs players and every one of the Lightning players were looking up at the board. And that doesn't happen during, timeouts. Guys are coaching, guys are talking. It's a game. You're not there to watch, the truly unruly hard seltzer contest on the big screen. But yeah, obviously it was, and that's respect. That's respect for Steven Stamkos. It's respect for the game. It's respect for Marty St. Louis. You love that about hockey culture. You freaking love it. It's such a great moment.
Yeah, and when you look at Stamkos, the past 15 years, I guess I'll say, I think there's the consensus, the top two players, Crosby, Ovechkin, you can rank those however you want. If you want to have the debate for the third, man, how can you not have them? You got to have them in the conversation.
You do, but you don't because, it's Tampa Bay. Despite the 2 cups, despite all the numbers he's put up, it's always going to be Canadian teams, the original 6. They're always going to be the core of the hockey universe. There's a lot of guys outside that traditional 6 and those other maybe bigger markets that could be considered. But Stamkos, he's probably in that group of 5 to 7 players.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get talked about enough. I think people look at the injuries, and I think that's part of it. And that's why his numbers are not where those 2 guys are. But make no mistake, they would be.
Yeah,
they would be.
And he's not as flashy as an Ovechkin.
I think he was, though, before the first injury against Boston.
Well, I mean more in terms of his personality.
Personality,
yeah. He's not a big personality like Ovechkin. Not that Crosby is either, but he played in that, that Pittsburgh market and the back-to-back championships and just, he's a tremendous player. I mean, just unbelievable. But, Stamkos is right there. Look at the numbers. And what he's doing this year, I think is huge. And if he captains in a row, and I'm sorry, there's no debate. Yeah. There's no debate.
I mean, I'll take the heat right now. I had the worst take back in October when I thought Stamkos was honestly on the back 9.
Yeah,
and I think
a lot of us did.
I think it did, but I would as far as to say it would surprise me if he turned into like a borderline third line player this year because I thought that's where the injuries were trending.
Yeah.
But to his credit, he came into this year, I think we said, as healthy as he's been in years, and he's been the best player on the ice more often than not for the Lightning.
He really has, and it's such a credit to his work ethic and his leadership. And I think it's at one time earlier in his career, I wasn't a big fan of his leadership just because of the way the team played in those certain situations.
And his play in the playoffs was never up to snuff.
Exactly. And he turned all that around. And we watched the maturation of a young man come from, young phenom superstar to working through it. It's not often that guys live up to the hype. It's tough to do, especially as a hockey player growing up in Toronto. The hype was ridiculous. And to meet that hype when it's like that is hard to do. There's very few athletes in this generation have done it. And I could think of hundreds that have not lived up to the hype. And he has 100%. He's the franchise leading scorer. He's captained them to back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. What more can you add? He took less money. He shunned the team he grew up idolizing for the loyalty to Mr. Vinnick and this franchise. I mean, if you're as a Lightning fan, I don't think you can laud him any more than Dave Andreychuk, Marty St. Louis, and Vinny Lecavalier. I think at this point, Marty has always been considered, I think, the greatest player in franchise history. And of course, Dave has the statue. Well, if we don't have a statue of Stammer in his office doing a one-timer out front of that Amalie Arena at some point, there's something very, very wrong going on. And there will be. Trust me, there will be a statue out front with him taking that one-timer. And we're all going to be able to take pictures with that at some point. I'm sure it's in the works already. And you'd almost like to see it go up before his career's over because he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's, I think, arguably now the greatest player in franchise history with what he's accomplished. And, We done seen Stamkos. We've seen Stamkos, and we like it. We like it. Great fitting night last night. History. Casey owes you.
I don't think she understood the moment last night. I don't think it registered to her.
Well, now she does.
But maybe she does.
Now she does. You won't make that mistake again. All right. We'll take a break. Hey, you know what? Just getting your girl to watch a hockey game with you is pretty good too.
She even said, she's like, how do you want your setup tonight? Do you want this blanket?
All
do
right,
you want
see?
this right here? Do you
That's
want a
pretty
Coke?
strong.
I mean, just the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Laid it out for me.
It's not that she didn't want to go. She was being fiscally responsible, which is another
She is the more
rare
fiscally-
trait for a wife, by the
She
way.
is the more fiscally responsible than I am.
Wow.
Trust me.
So, you got to keep her there.
Roles
Ain't
are
no doubt
reversed.
about that.
Trust me, the
Thank
ring
you.
has been bought, paid for.
I think you outkicked
and-
your coverage there, but I know a little something about that.
Excuse me.
I'm just saying. You're a catch. I'll give you that put. She's pretty good.
Well, you've called me ugly on this show before many times.
That's
so.
when you don't have your ring light
When I
on.
don't have my ring
You
light
look
on.
pasty. Yeah. And you might need to put it a little bit closer to you today. All right. We'll take a break. And we'll come back and we'll do some Rays talk, baby. And Doug Wechter's going to join us at 11:15. We've already got some Rays chatter on the chat line. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of the Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait time. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not about ensuring all pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on Fan Stream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with stucco work that was done on your house in the past 5 to 10 years, folks, and those are typically the cracks that you will see on the side of your house. A lot of them on the upper floors. If you have a second floor, there was a defective stucco product that many of the contractors used in Florida back in those days, and so you may very well have some cracks, and then there's water damage behind it if that's the frame part of the house. So it's happened to a lot of people, and you just don't know what the damage is, and maybe until it's too late. And then a lot of your builder or whomever will say, sorry, that's 5 years ago. We can't do anything about it. Yes, you can. Christopher Palermo will take care of that for you. Not everybody has a case, but you might. You don't know unless you give him a call, and you can reach him at PalermoPA.com, PalermoPA.com. Go to his website. A lot of good information there. Any construction defects that you have, commercial or residential, that's his niche. That's right in his wheelhouse. So, and of course, any real estate law questions that you have as well, he'd be happy to help you out. It's the Palermo Law Offices, PalermoPA.com. Great guy. You've heard him on the show. Probably going to have him on the show next week. And by the way, he is combing over the lawsuit. The second lawsuit that the Rays or Stu Sternberg has been hit by with his partners, and told me yesterday there's some very interesting things in there. There's a different judge involved. So we're going to get a full report from him probably next week on that. So we'll be bringing him on the show to check that out. And those things are still ongoing, as are, by the way, the Rays trying to find a way to put a roof on this stadium in Ybor. I think that's kind of the hang up now, because obviously that's going to be a huge expense. That's going to be something that they're going to need that number before the Hillsborough County can make their financial pitch to the Rays. And again, I firmly believe that this is going to get done this year. It has to get done this year, quite frankly, if they're going to be playing by 2027. So 2027 would be the last year of the lease, right? So that would be the last season they would play there, and they would start in 2028. So I mean, we're still, at the end of this year, we're looking at 3 years to build the park is what it took in Atlanta. Of course, it could be longer with supply chain issues and everything else. So I think you'd be pretty set. They probably could do the 2020. They should plan on doing the 2027 season in the new park in Ybor. So I think those are some of the holdups right now. And I know there's a lot of people out there on Twitter that keep saying that Hillsborough County does not have the money. And, from what I've been told by Ken Hagan and others, that there's a financial package that's going to be in place that will be, well, he's even told us on the show, it's either going to be 50-50, 42 or 52-48, something in that range as far as public-private. Whatever it is, they're confident that they can come up with a package that will meet that threshold. And if that's the case, Major League Baseball is going to, I think, very forcibly say to Sternberg, get the deal done, because we want to get into expansion. You wrote a story yesterday about the Nashville situation, which plays right into this. I know people keep thinking, oh, the Rays are going to go to Nashville. No, Nashville is I think is a future market, but it's an expansion market, right?
Yeah,
that's what
it would be an expansion market, and they're planning for the next 3 to 5 years to get that done.
Yep.
Because Commissioner Manfred has said that it has to get done first at Oakland and Tampa Bay.
Right. Those stadium situations have to be figured out.
Yes. Dave Stewart, like I think I mentioned, he's the one leading this group for this $2 billion bid to get Nashville as the expansion franchise. So he was on yesterday with guys at Outkick 360, and he thinks that the A's are going to move out of Oakland unless the vote, where there's an upcoming vote in June about their stadium, unless it goes their way to what they want, he thinks they're going to move. So that should accelerate what's going to go on in Oakland. You should have a resolution there if they're going to Las Vegas or they're staying in Oakland then.
Why wouldn't the A's move to Nashville?
Why would you move a team like that? We talked a little bit yesterday with all that history that's been in that market for like 60 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole field is named after Ricky Henderson, for crying out loud. I mean, why would you go to Nashville?
I think baseball would work in Oakland with a beautiful downtown or downtown on the waterfront park. Yeah, of course it would work. It's a huge market. It can. I think it can support two teams, and with the history of the A's, yeah, absolutely they could.
Yeah, and that's not to say I think baseball would be a success in Nashville. No doubt about it.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Hell, I mean, look at the Predators. It's the same thing with the Lightning. Do you really think there are more hockey fans in Nashville than there are baseball fans?
No.
But the Predators have the third highest attendance this year and sell out every night like the Lightning.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Nashville's booming. Oh, my God, it's booming. Yeah, Nashville is going to be a great baseball market. But again, Major League Baseball wants Nashville, yes, but they also want Tampa Bay.
The Rays are not going to Nashville. I saw a lot of Nashville fans saying, well, why can't the Rays just relocate here? It's not happening.
No,
it's not happening. That's not on the table. It's just not.
It's money, folks. Why would Major League Baseball shun $2 billion in expansion fee in Nashville? Because if you move the Rays there would be a relocation fee. But that's not as much as an expansion fee. Plus, you'd be losing a market, a top 12 market, a top 11
Rob Manfred's
market.
not going to get out of this market. He's a lot of things, but he's not that ridiculous.
He's not that dumb.
No, that's your words, not mine.
Yeah,
he's not that to say money. I'm going to get out of this market.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah, so Nashville is a player, but they're an expansion player, and that's the way that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's again, Major League Baseball is, like Manfred said, is committed to this market, and we act like this is just the most hardest thing to build, and they're doing it all over the nation. They've done it, in Atlanta twice in the times that we've had one stadium. It's not that big a deal. It sounds like a lot of money. I get it, $1 billion or $900 million, but over 30 years, that's not a lot of money, folks, especially for something like this. And there's, in a bustling area where a stadium is going to add so much value to all the real estate around it. And it just makes sense on so many economic levels. So I would not be concerned about that. And I think England's eventually going to get what they want as well. And I think that will go their way. It'd be stupid not to. If they're going to do a redevelopment down there on that port property, why would you not want to anchor like a beautiful waterfront stadium like you have right across the bay in San Francisco that works so well? And then you've got the great history of the A's and the A's fans. The A's fans, just like Rays fans, they're there. But, as I said on Twitter the other day, you can't ownership has to earn your money. Just because you play and win baseball games doesn't mean that fans are obligated to go spend ridiculous prices, by the way, in Tampa, in Tropicana Field, just because you're winning. It doesn't work that way anymore. My friends that moved the Rays to Tampa put out a statement yesterday. Said, in the wake of recent media coverage, we stand with Oakland A's fans. For years, fans of both teams have experienced many of the same issues, from years of refusing to invest in the team or community, having meetings with other cities, threatening relocation, trading away fan favorites, raising ticket prices, and continuing to play in arguably the two worst stadiums in Major League Baseball. We hope that fans of not only the Rays and Athletics, but other MLB teams as well, can rally together and bring light to this issue. This is not only damaging to two teams, but the future of baseball as a whole. Fans must come together and help save the game that we all know and love, baseball. And that's absolutely true. I mean, all these fan bases and other national media pundits that continue to dump on A's fans and Rays fans do not understand the details of what's going on in these particular markets. And it's absolutely ludicrous to bang on fans for not coming to this upcoming Boston series when the cheapest ticket for the upper party deck is, for two tickets after fees, is would we come at to $83?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, we went over it yesterday about how it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I can make the argument, if you're one of those people that goes to like a game a year or two a year, and maybe price is part of the fact that goes into it. This weekend, if you're going to one game a year or two games a year, can you go to this one? Can we get up for one of these weekends, please? Please. Can I make that argument?
I can't sit there and look a dad in the eye who's working his ass off, even for a $70, $80, $100,000 a year job, and say, I'm going to take 4 kids, I'm going to take 2 kids, 4 people to the ballpark and sit in a decent seat and pay all in at the end of the day, almost $400 for the day for a baseball game. That's not what baseball was meant to be, man. Baseball was meant to be able to just run to the park, drop 10 or 15 bucks on an outfield ticket, have a few beers, and walk away.
You think this is rookie of the year or something?
I'm sorry. That's the reality in today's economy. Inflation and everything that's going on, disposable income, these teams should be lowering prices. They shouldn't be jacking prices up. They should be lowering prices and trying to fill the trop. And this is what I never understood is the Lightning get it. Early on in Jeffrey Vinnick's tenure here, he papered the house. They gave away so many free tickets for so long just to get people in and experiencing what it was like to go to Amalie Arena, knowing full well that they're going to come back and they're going to pay money to do so. And look what's happened. And also he was going to make money off concessions. He was going to make money off $14 beers. He's going to make money off that stuff. That's the way most ownership groups work, except Stu, because he knows that he's going to make just as much money if people don't show up because of his revenue sharing, and he doesn't have to staff the house as much as he would have to. So he would rather and doesn't market the team either. He saves all that money. So to me, it's not the way to. It's not fan friendly, and it's not player friendly to do that. And he just continues to do it.
Yeah, I just think that in a series like this, it's still April. It's early. This is the 3rd homestand. The first 2 were against the Orioles and the A's. If you don't want to go to those games, whatever. By all means, you don't want to see the A's and Orioles. But this is the freaking Red Sox coming into town. This is your chief rival coming into town on a weekend series. There's giveaways on every single day if you're into that type of thing. I just feel like I feel like those are games I want to be at, as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of the price, like if that's my thing that I'm doing for the weekend, I'm going to the Rays game. I feel like a real fan, a true fan that wants to see their Rays play would have no problem with that.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. If you're for this series.
All right. And here's another topic. It goes to competitive balance. All right. Matt Germain writes, in my opinion, if Rays had a new stadium already built on the Tampa side, I should preface this by saying Chris Torello put out a tweet about John Heyman saying that the Rays were very close to getting Suzuki instead of the Cubs, and the Cubs got him for, I think it was $85 million total offer. And the Rays were in on that, like they were, quote, in on Freddie Freeman. And my response, or Matt Germain's response to that was, if we had a new stadium already built on the Tampa side of the Bay, one that regularly draws 20,000 fans, they'd have a much easier time landing a top-level free agent. Winning a great clubhouse can only take you so far when competing with the top budget teams. And I added to that. I've talked to 3 MLB players, all position players. They hate playing and hitting at the Trop and don't like the lack of fan support. Players with options will have a hard time choosing Rays baseball unless the monies are way more, and that's not going to happen. And Chris replied, said, if the Rays were a top bidder and had the best plan for that player, they will land said player. I don't agree with that. He says, I know you hate the Trop, and it's very clear you hate Stu. I don't hate him. I hate the way he runs the team. It's not personal. It said it's all fine, but Neander and his staff have had a lot more authority to pursue deals as of late, and that is a fact. I guess that's right.
I think it is. They've been in on players and at least putting themselves out there more so than recently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand. I have a more sinister view of Stu, so it's probably maybe a little bit over the top, if I can be completely honest. But until they land said guy, it doesn't matter because his cheapness. We should already have we should be moving into the stadium, and were we moving into the stadium, perhaps we would have got Freddie Freeman.
Well, we don't.
Perhaps we would have got Suzuki, and that's my point. Is that it all goes back to Stu. Ownership. You're not going to land these top guys, even if you're willing to finally pay the money, even if you're finally willing to do that, which you're late to the party on that as well. You're not going to get it done until you get the stadium. And now we got to wait another 3 years because you've been dicking around for so long.
Here's my thing though. It's like, as much as I would have loved for them to get Freddie Freeman, and now of course I'd love for them to have Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah.
You're competing with the Dodgers and the Cubs. Okay.
Right.
I mean,
that ain't going away.
And I get that's the point. But, I think any team like the Rays would have trouble going up against that. In regards to the Seiya Suzuki, okay.
Not if you had a new stadium in downtown Tampa.
Fair.
Maybe you'd look more like the Lightning and be attracting top free agents.
Fair.
Maybe you'd look more like the Bucks and be able to attract Tom Brady if you weren't such a cheap son of a bitch and you would keep refusing to build a stadium. And still to this day is still dicking around with St. Petersburg. Still.
But here's my thing with the Seiya Suzuki, because that's the one that's been brought up today, that the Rays were probably second place on that.
Okay.
I don't feel like you can have it both ways. If the Rays had signed Seiya Suzuki for 5 years, $85 million, which is the deal he got for the Cubs, that's $17 million per. He'd be the highest paid player in the history of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bet how many Rays fans would come here and say, you gave that money to somebody who's from Japan that we don't even know how he's going to be, and you just gave that money to Yoshi Sasuga 2 years ago, and it didn't work out. You want to argue there's not a great portion of the fan base that would have killed them for that move? Bringing in somebody like that from Japan who they don't know anything that's going to be and making him the highest paid player?
Well, I'm sorry, but they would be stupid saying that, because that's how real baseball teams operate.
Maybe, but you have to.
And by the way, how would those fans look right now?
Well,
he's off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, it's been 14 games.
I know, but he's off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He might go on to win the MVP or whatever. Who knows? But I'm not going to fault the Rays for not going to make him the highest paid player in the league when there's just so much uncertainty there. And it's not like we were saying he was Ohtani coming out of Japan.
Well, at some point you got to,
maybe take the chance. I guess
take some chances.
But again, when you're going up against the Chicago Cubs,
well, listen, Neander, they were supposedly in on it. They were close to getting him or making a decent offer.
Yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
And that's the first step, though. I feel like we want it all to happen now. I think I look at it like, okay, for years we weren't even in on these guys. Hell, even making offers.
Listen, that's fair.
Putting
that's
competitive
fair.
offers from everybody that's in and plugged into this. They're saying the Rays are making competitive offers, and this is a difference from the past few years. That's first step. Second step is maybe other free agents are saying, okay, the Rays are legitimate and they mean well now, and we can go there.
I'll grant you that. But again, I'll come back that if it wasn't for the cheapness of this ownership, we'd have the new stadium already, and those deals may have been done. So, yes. Okay, so we're saying maybe he's turned the corner now because Major League Baseball has stepped on him and said, to hell with your sister city plan, get your deal done here, and we don't want to, and stop defrauding your partners. Okay, can you be an ethical businessman as well and start dealing in good faith with your local governments and being a community partner? How about that?
That's fair.
Okay,
that's fair.
Because and this has been my point forever. It's not just about paying your payroll. Okay, it's not just about being a good person and supporting the community. It all comes together. It all comes together, and it doesn't happen overnight. And it's not done with words. It's done with deeds. It's done with giving away $50,000 checks at every single game, even during COVID when you have no fans. It's about paying people and paying for stuff to go out into the schools and send your community hockey, Lightning community hockey team out into the community constantly. That costs money. That thing they did at St. Pete last week, that costs a lot of money. It's fan outreach. And this is stuff that Vinnick has been doing forever. And it's a commitment, and it's from the gut, and it's from the soul. And you never get that feeling from Stu. Even these, reports that they're in on these players, I have a hard time believing it because of his history. He has a history of being very disingenuous. So I'm going to be a little skeptical, but I'll go ahead and agree with you that they're in on all these guys. But it takes more than just being in on them. You got to be committed as an organization, and they never have been. So.
And I still think, though, until they turn the corner with the stadium and getting free agents, being able to be attractive, they're going to have to work, obviously, through the trade market to get guys to come in here, like they did with Nelson Cruz.
And and that's why my point is, if Neander's whole strategy was free agency and trying to convince guys to come here, that's a flawed strategy. because they're not going to come here because of the park and the lack of commitment. And hell, why would a player come here when this jackass organization is talking about moving half their games to Montreal? And even though that's been squashed, it's still the same organization that went after that for 2 years. Like, who the hell wants to play for a team that's got ideas like that? And you may think they may be relocating somewhere else. There's a lot of uncertainty here. And so if that's your strategy is to go out and buy players, it's a bad strategy. They don't want to come here. You're going to have to do it through the trade. And your only trade you made, you didn't bring in a major league piece. He might be soon, but he ain't yet.
But I could also make the argument in the past few years, did they trade for Charlie Morton? Did they sign Charlie Morton?
They signed Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton was third-tier free agent guy. Was trying to look to rehab his career a little bit.
He got the last out of a World Series championship team and had 2 really good years as a starter.
Were there a ton of takers for him?
I'm sure there were.
Hey, he signed 2 years, $15 million each. I lauded it. I lauded it at the time. I was like, hey, finally, you went out and did something. But he wasn't a top-tier free agent, is my point.
No, I mean,
and by the way, he's a pitcher. My thing is these are position players that don't want to come here.
Yeah, because I was pitchers about to go to Corey Kluber as well.
Yeah, pitchers do. Pitchers want to come here because it's a tough place to hit, and you can make some money. Pitcher, and it's a pitching and defense franchise. Pitchers, yes. Position players, no. That's my point about the park.
Yeah, that's the point there. But through the trade thing, for the most part during the regular season, the Rays they seem to always at least attempt to add pieces during the season. We saw the trade last year with Willy Adames. We saw the trade to get Rasmussen and Fireisen in here. We saw the trade obviously with Nelson Cruz.
They're going front office for all knocking them for having a strategy of thinking that, this is how we're going to get it done this offseason. We're going to get Freddie Freeman. We're going to get Suzuki. And they didn't work trades for Olsen or Chapman. They got outbid. Those were trades, right? If I'm not mistaken, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
That's just a matter of putting up your prospects and getting enough prospects in order. And we certainly have plenty of those.
Not everybody values the prospects, though, the same. You have to keep in mind that as well. Who's to say Atlanta looked at our prospects and said, I'm not crazy about this prospect? Or the Rays were just like, in a case of like a Vidal Brujan or someone like that, they're like, no, I don't want to give him up right now. You never know.
Okay. Well, that's a decision you make. And here we stand without any of those guys.
What I'm trying to say is I think the Rays may have gone into the offseason with that philosophy. We're going to see if we can stick our necks out there and get one of these guys by chance. If not, that's fine. We know we're going to be competitive. We know we're going to win baseball games. And at some point during the regular season, we can still make a splash trade for a player on a team that's out of it.
All right.
And I think that's what I'm telling you. I think that's going to happen at some point because the Rays are not going to sit on it. And the offense has been great the last 2 games. But if the offense continues its dips and its ebbs and flows, they're going to make a move.
Right. All right, we're going to need to take a break here. We got Doug Wechter coming up here in just a bit. I want to remind you that the great folks over at American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald, will service you if you're looking to do a refi. And we told you, a month and a half ago, get it locked in because rates have gone up, and they're going to keep going up, by the way. As much as it sucks that they're at 5 now and they were at 3.5, they're going to 7, they're going to 9, they're going to 10. So if you got a refi or you're looking for a home at some point and you think rates are coming down, they ain't. So you better just bite the bullet and get in right now and lock in. So hit him up, Scott Fitzgerald. He's the best in the business. Scott at amstampa.com. Scott at amstampa.com. Email him. He will go to work for you. He will find the lowest rate. His fees are less than anybody in the business. He'll beat just about any closing statement you can present to him on fees. And also, he will help you out with the rest of your finances as well. He'll look at all of your loans that you have. And if you can get refi money, where it is best to put your money to get your monthly nut as low as it can go. So it's not just a mortgage guy. It's a guy that's going to give you some great financial advice as well. So hit him up. He's done over 3,000 loans in the area from some of our highest coaches and players to ham and eggers just like me. He's done 3 of my loans. So hit him up, Scott Fitzgerald, Scott at amstampa.com. We will be back with the great Doug Wechter and talk some Rays baseball on the field. We got NFL news as well later on. We'll talk some Bucks, so stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call 813 for Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his team over there will get you right if you're looking for a new primary care physician. He's as good as it gets. He works with some of our top military pilots, and he could work with you as well. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, speaking of Top Gun, let's bring in our man, Doug Wechter, Valley Sports Sun Rays analyst. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Well, it sounds like you're in your car, and I was just reading this story. There was a Clearwater marijuana dispensary that caught fire on US 19. That's in your neighborhood. So if you're driving by, don't take too big of a whiff, bro. I don't want you getting too high for
keep the windows up, huh?
or keep them down, whatever floats your boat, brother. All I know is there's going to be a lot of people standing outside watching that fire go down.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So how you doing, partner? How about you didn't make the trip to Wrigley like I did and froze my ass off Monday night sitting in the snow with my son having a couple cold beers, very cold beers, by the way.
Dude, I will say that typically it's a lot of fun to go on the road and cover the team and enjoy all the sights, especially at Wrigley. I mean, the history of Wrigley, just to see the park. And, Chicago in general is such a great spot. But, man, when I was watching it on TV, it felt nice being in some air conditioning around 74 degrees and watching everybody else there. But I'm jealous. I bet that beer was nice and cold. Was it Goose Island?
There was a Goose Island. Good call. Absolutely. It was Goose Island, which I didn't know Goose Island is actually there in Chicago. That's where Goose Island is there. That little island of the Chicago River there. Just west of the downtown. So I learned that, it's always been one of my favorite beers, but to drink it in Wrigley Field with my son when it stays extra cold, it was fun despite the cold. You can't help but have a great time in Wrigley Field with all the Chicago fans that were there. They were great. And, we were sitting right behind the dugout, and every inning Choi was throwing the ball over the net to all the fans. It was fun. It was just a really, really fun night.
Well, I mean, it's one of those where you just kind of embrace the weather. What
exactly.
Are you gonna do, right? You're not going to sit at home. You got the tickets. You're going to go. And so you might as well have fun with it, embrace it, and put down some Goose Island.
Yeah.
You know, another good beer is the Old Style. I think it's Old Style out there. They got that's a good one too, man.
No, it's not. That's awful.
Last time I was in
That's
last time I was in Chicago, I went to the Cubs game. No, I'm sorry. I took my family to the White Sox game.
Right.
And I had a few of those Old Styles and saw one of those velocity booths, you know, where you can pay to throw 3 balls and see how hard you throw. And my kids started, getting me into it. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's see what we got. And I'll say, so I got up there and everybody's throwing like 65, 70 miles an hour, feeling really good about it, right? And so I probably wasn't in a great state to go out there and start launching the baseball, but I did anyway. So first throw, 87 miles an hour. And everybody around me was like, wow, that's great, you know, everything. And so I'm feeling really good. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got 90 in me. I got 90 in me right now.
No way.
So I take the second one, throw it, crow hop, 89 miles an hour. And so at this point in time, everybody's like jumping up and down. They're like, dude, you're going to do it. You should play baseball for a living, you know, kind of joking around with me because nobody knows. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I really felt the crowd, right?
Oh, God.
And so I'm like, you know what? This is 90 on the dot. You're supposed to call your last line. You can, whatever you win. So blow up the stuff down, whatever it is. And so I grab the last ball, man, and I'm like, all right, 90 on the dot. I take this crow hop. I get the crowd into it. I take this crow hop, launch it, hit 90 miles an hour on the dot. Everybody starts going crazy, and I start feeling tingling from my shoulder down to my fingertips, dude. I swear to you, I thought I blew my arm out.
I was like, I'm waiting for a torn rotator cuff. Oh, that is a torn rotator cuff waiting to happen right there. No doubt about it. You survived.
Brutal.
No warm-up whatsoever, and here you go. Yeah. Well, I actually went to Sluggers across from right next to the Cubby Bear, and they have batting cages upstairs. I go up there, and my son's like, come on, Dad, you can do this. I'm like, damn right I can. So I jump in the cage, and first of all, it's like it's darker than a movie theater in there. And these balls are coming at you like 60, 70 miles an hour. These yellow balls, you can't see shit. I mean, you're like, how can you? And it's like, it's one of those old pitching machines where it rolls down the thing and then it spits it out. So I'm trying to get it. Like, is it rolling down? I can't really see. And then poof, it's like out. Like, well, I made contact, and I made contact with 8 out of 8. That's not too bad. I barreled up a few of them. I was pretty happy with my son was like, that's not bad, Dad. That's not bad. I'm like, you have no. I just pulled a handy and a quad.
You go to the closest CVS to go find a bottle of Advil and trying to not be sore for the rest of the week.
I totally pulled a quad and a hammy. I swear to you, I was like, for the next half hour, I was like, oh, that was not a good idea. But you know what? Once you played the game, I mean, it wasn't as bad hitting off you. I mean, getting drilled in the thigh when you drilled me. So it was better than that experience.
You were all over my plate, and I didn't like the look you were giving me. And so
I'd already had a sharp single up the middle. So yeah, I was already targeted. Yeah. Anyway, enough about my athletic exploits. What is your thought, just your overall thought of this team? 7-6. 13 straight days of playing, 6 of them in the freeze box in Chicago. Maybe hard to get a real accurate feel for what this team is all about, but what are your overall thoughts?
I think they're where they need to be. I think the better teams and even the best teams in baseball will go through some ups and downs, and they'll go through some spots where they're not playing like themselves. And that's what we saw from the Rays, but also the best teams go through the slots will still play 500 ball. And we're playing above 500 ball. We played the Chicago White Sox, a very good team. We should have taken a series from Oakland. That's the one that kind of hurts us because you were at home playing a team coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. That one, I really wish we would have been able to take that series. But besides that, it's right where they need to be, right? Record-wise, they're looking good. You got a lot of teams in the big leagues right now that are around 500 that you can just anticipate will be in the hunt for October.
Right.
And so, it's you definitely can lose early, your chance to be in the playoffs, but you're not going to win it early, and you can stay in the hunt, and that's what we're doing. We're just staying in the hunt right now, and once everything kind of lines back up in the Rays' way, it looks like it's starting to with the health of the pitching and
Yeah.
some rest. That off day was huge.
Yeah.
I think it's going to start really rolling Tampa Bay's way here soon, and you're going to start seeing their defense, their base run, everything cleaned up, and we'll see the way we anticipate seeing.
Well, and one of my concerns right now is just the offense in general. I don't know. It just feels like there's not enough pop in this offense. I don't know where the RBIs are going to come from now that Austin Meadows is gone. And I know it's early. It just, the one day Franco wasn't in our line was the day, we were drunk in Wrigley Field. That lineup seems really anemic when there's no Wander Franco in there. And to be counting on basically a rookie, as big a superstar as he's going to be, that doesn't usually pay off. So I'm still concerned about the offense. And I know we were second or third last year, but we've also lose a Joey Wendell, you lose Austin Meadows, you lose a Nelly Cruz. It's a different lineup. Your thoughts?
It is, and it's basically, Wander Franco. You take Wander Franco and insert him in any lineup.
Yeah.
That lineup's that much better. And you take him out, then they're going to be different. I mean, this is a superstar in the making, and he's pretty much already there. This guy is better than 95% of all major leaguers out there, if not 99%. I mean, he's a top 3 to 5 player in the game. So, you take him out of a lineup, your lineup's going to look a lot different, but I think this lineup is going to hit. Brandon Lau is going to hit. He's going to just look at the back of his baseball card. I mean, that's the stats that you can anticipate this guy putting up, whether he goes through some slumps. And, of course, we've seen, he and the best players in the league go through slumps. And, he's not absolutely mashing the ball right now, but his swing isn't far off. And I anticipate him putting up some really good numbers throughout this season. Rosarena will get there. His is just good. I look more to the fact that his hard contact rate, his ability to get to the inside pitch with his quick hands, but now that he's utilizing the entire field, I think those numbers will really play out well for him this year. Guys like that, Ji-Man Choi hit the ball extremely well. Danilo is going to hit some bombs. Will he replicate what he did last year? Who knows? That was his best year offensively in the big leagues, so you can't really tell, but he'll get better. And Josh Lowe, I think they really like this guy for a reason. You just got to, I think, give him a little bit of time to let him get comfortable, new pitchers for the first time, ballparks for the first time. And once he gets a little more comfortable, you'll start seeing that bat wake up too.
Doug Wechter joining us here, Bally Sports Sun, Rays analyst. The pitching staff obviously has just been decimated by injuries already. You combine that with the fact that the Rays are obviously treating these guys with kid gloves, 80 pitches, you're done. And it's early. I know you had the truncated spring training. Is there conversations within the organization that maybe we're babying these guys too much? Or just the strategy with all these guys getting injured, it just seems like it's not really working. Are the Rays experiencing more injuries per pitchers than other teams? It seems like it. I haven't seen the empirical data on this, but are they having conversations about how they're handling these pitchers in terms of all of them getting injured so often?
Well, I think that every team, no matter what, is always trying to find the best way to keep all their staff healthy, and that's just not pitching. I mean, that's players in general. The Rays do a lot to figure out the best way of keeping guys on the field. And I know Kyle Snyder works very closely with the training staff, and they scour over all the numbers, and they realize, health is their number one concern leaving spring training, and that's a focus. And, you can't always go out there and prevent injury, and you can do as much as possible to, help your chances to keep everybody healthy. But, unfortunately, injury is part of the game, and we've seen that over the course of the last few years with the Rays, and really for the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years at least, maybe more. And it's not just Tampa Bay. I think it's overall in general, Major League Baseball sees a lot more injuries nowadays than they might have seen in years past with pitching. And I think part of that is because these kids throw so much prior to even getting into an organization.
Exactly.
You got kids throwing so much youth baseball, they're starting pitching at such a young age and pitching year round, and all of a sudden when they get to these professional levels, they're already dealing with Tommy John surgeries and other things.
Yeah.
So that factors into it as well. In regards to the way they're going to be handling the pitchers, no, I don't think anything will really change. I think they have a formula that they really, really like. And, not
the results
just for
are good.
reasons and concerns, but yeah, it's the results. I mean, the way they win is by utilizing that bullpen more than anybody else. And Cash is pretty much a magician at the way he puts guys in there and it works throughout the rest of the game when the bullpen gets in there and they succeed the majority of the time. So no, I don't really see anything changing, but they're always looking to find ways to stay healthy.
Doug Wechter joining us here. What are your thoughts on some of the young guys that we've seen and some of the guys coming back, especially, Beeks has been really, really good getting him back. Myron as well. And Kittredge, man, has he turned it up a notch this year? It looks even better to me.
Yeah, he was an all-star last year, had 9-3 record. His chase rate was actually higher than Jacob deGrom's, meaning he basically gets guys to swing and miss at more pitches out of the zone than Jacob deGrom, who is the nastiest pitcher in the big league. Yep. So, Kittredge is a hammer in that bullpen, and he is the number one guy that Cash goes to when they're in a pinch. So he's stud. He looks fantastic. Great having Beeks back out there because he's mid-90s from the left side, and that can be hard to find when you got a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they got in Beeks, and they really like him where he's at, and that changeup has really developed nicely. So he's going great, and it's going to be a array of arms that we're going to have in this bullpen. You got Colin Poche that we haven't even gotten to yet this year because he's coming off an injury. He'll be factored in at some point. Pete Fairbanks is a guy who will factor into this bullpen at some point. Nick Anderson's still coming back from an injury. That guy was absolute machine when he was healthy.
When he was healthy,
so we'll see how that comes out. But this bullpen is still one of the tops in the big leagues. And Kevin Cash and Kyle Snyder, the way they utilize these guys and handle the bullpen is, I think, the best. And obviously I'm a little biased because I get to watch them every night, the way they deal with situations and that, but they do such a good job with working these guys in and putting them in situations where they can succeed. This is a bullpen that they're going to rely on heavily, and it's going to be I think the biggest strength of this team, or one of the biggest strengths of this team. And if this bullpen can do what they did last year, then you're most likely going to see this team, playing in October.
All right, this Red Sox series, big series for this team. It's kind of like everybody's kind of settled in now. The opening weekend's over. This is. I'd like to see some bigger crowds, but I don't know. The ticket prices are kind of high this weekend, but I'd like to see some big crowds and see this. And see this, the Rays kind of take off this week. They're indoors now. Don't have to worry about the cold, and maybe we'll see a little bit better representative of what we've seen. We got Kluber going tonight, right? I'm excited to see him pitch again here tonight.
Yeah, Kluber going tonight. It's going to be an awesome series. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Just chatting with some of the guys in spring training. They still haven't gotten over that series loss in the playoffs last year against the Red Sox. And,
interesting.
Throughout the last few years and for a while now, the Red Sox have been really a heated rivalry. I mean, the Yankees, but the Red Sox, the Rays definitely want to take this series. And, these guys are passionate about it. They want to go out there and put a stamp on this series and move on from last year. And it should be a really good one. You do have Kluber on the mound tonight. Kluber's looked good so far this year. He's looked kind of like the Corey Kluber that you hoped that you were going to get. Healthy, not necessarily swing and miss stuff anymore, but a very, very effective veteran pitcher who carries a lot of confidence and a lot of success on the mound when he goes out there. So he'll be great to set the tone tonight on this series. And you got Shane McClanahan going on Sunday. So you got two of your better pitchers going in this series against the Red Sox. So it should be a really good series, and it should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Shane's been awesome. I mean, I know he's 0-1, and but I think he's at 14.4 Ks per 9 innings. I mean, he's just been almost untouchable, just giving up a couple of home runs that have kind of bit him in the butt. But I'm looking forward to him and the whole team, putting Boston back in their place. Listen, Boston has been our bitch here in Tampa Bay for quite some time. We stole Brady. We stole Gronk. We beat the Patriots, been beating the crap out of the Bruins. And the Rays were beating the crap out of the Red Sox for a while until that playoff series. So we need to put them back in their place this week. So
Let's
the
hope,
rally
let's hope
call.
they go out there and put
Boston's
a
our
little
bitch.
series
Yes.
together here.
Yes.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see them go ahead and take this Red Sox series, set the tone.
Yes.
Because you got a lot of games against them this year. I mean, 18, 19 games against this team, and they're a good team. They are a very good offensive team specifically. They do have some question marks in that rotation and in the bullpen, but man, offensively, this team can rake. It'll be fun to watch them go out there, and it's nice to see that the Red Sox have to come to Tampa Bay, because remember, we were supposed to open up the season in Boston.
That's right.
And so it kind of worked out well that they are coming to Tampa instead because of the late start of the season. And this will be the first time we get to see them, and it'll be in our home setting and our home environment, and it should be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, last question. What do you got coming up on the pregame show tonight? You working tonight?
Yeah, I'll be working tonight. We're going to be celebrating Jackie Robinson. We weren't on the home games.
Nice.
We weren't on when Jackie Robinson Day was being broadcast. So we're going to celebrate it on our terms. And, man, there's just no one better in baseball to celebrate than Jackie Robinson. I love this day because, honestly, it gets to remember, one of the biggest heroes to ever put on a Major League uniform and what he went through, and to still be able to go out there and produce for his team, and just what he means in general to so many people, so many Americans, and really this world. There's not enough good things to be said about Jackie Robinson. So we're going to pay some tribute to him tonight. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to that. No doubt about it. He definitely set the tone for so many. And we talk about black players, but Latino players as well, who now dominate Major League Baseball. And it's great to see the diversity of baseball. And we owe it all to Branch Rickey and Jackie Robinson, especially for the way that he was able to handle those situations. If you haven't seen the movie 42, go see it. It's a must watch for everyone. All right, my friend, always great to chat with you. We will be watching you tonight, 6:30 on Valley Sports Sun. Actually, it's earlier than that, 6 o'clock, right? Yeah, because we had 6:40
game. Buddy. Yeah, 6 o'clock. So tune in, man. It'll be it'll be great.
All right,
great to be back on air.
Thanks, partner. Appreciate it. Stay away from the dispensary there on your way home. Roll the windows down.
Will do, bud.
Right, see you later. The great Doug Wechter. Yeah. It's probably a big crowd out in front of the dispensary as it burns.
You seem so excited to get over there or something in about
see
30 minutes.
I want to see the crowd out front.
Oh, you just want to see the crowd? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a card or anything. I can't go out and buy anything just yet. So, but a lot of my friends do. They enjoy that. All right. We will take a break. We'll come back on the other side, hit a little NFL football, get the latest news on the draft, what's coming up. Just get some great draft rumors coming up. And curious case of Deebo Samuel, who wants to get paid but doesn't want to hit the ball as much. I think he's actually got a pretty good point. We'll talk about that next. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco was starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. Also brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. April gemstone is diamonds. Diamonds. Go get some great diamonds at the Gold and Diamond Source, your trusted source, by the way. If you go to another jewelry store, they could tell you it's, this cut of diamond or that cut of diamond. You don't even know if it's a real diamond. You just don't know. If you buy something online, you don't know if it's a real diamond, right? They could tell you it is. You got to go to a trusted source, and what better source? Julian's Wine Trust, been around for decades, obviously, and do tremendous work in our community with their philanthropy. And they've got a great staff there that will walk you through all of it. And they've got everything from low budget items to high budget items, the best baller watches, some great earrings, necklaces, whatever you want to get. It's gorgeous showroom, and they got the biggest selection there. If you're thinking about getting engaged, why would you go anywhere else? They've got the best prices. They've got the obviously their diamond savings account where you can bring your diamond back and upgrade anytime you want and get full value. And they're not going away, folks. They're going to be there forever. You never know about some of these other places that are advertising this, that, and the other. So it is the Gold and Diamond Source. Keep your money local. And what better place than the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right. The draft is less than a week away. And we're going to be tuned in. Obviously the Bucs are going to add some pieces that hopefully will make an impact in their first season. But if you're a team like the Panthers or the Saints or the Falcons that are looking to make that splash, that's a tough place to sit. It is a tough place to sit because those are teams that are not typically going to win Super Bowls. Now, obviously, the Bucs got Tristan Wirfs and a couple of years ago, and that made a huge difference. I don't think they're counting on this 27th pick or whether they move up or move back to make a huge impact this year, and that's a good place to be. Gives them freedom to go wherever they want. And I do think they'll be able to find a couple of guys at the top of the draft that they can plug into certain situations, whether it be a Lewis Cine from Georgia, an impact linebacker and a great tackler in the back end, or a defensive tackle. Wherever they go, I think it's going to be defense as far as impact this year.
Yeah, I think they definitely should go defense. Don't even entertain no tight ends that the draft. No receiver. Some people are going to make the argument, but I'm not thinking that's the biggest need right now.
No,
even if you do think there's the best player available there, defense seems like the pick. I'm banging the drum for Lewis Cine.
I love him
because it's a fit, and I think he might be the best available player as well there. But who knows? Of course, what's going to happen is it's going to be somebody we haven't even mentioned, right?
Yeah,
It's
probably
going to end up happening here.
I think Devontae Wyatt, the defensive tackle from Georgia, has been mentioned a lot. Booth from Clemson, a corner. I could see them going corner.
Yeah,
I could see them going.
I was going to say that that's kind of the area where like Kyrie Elam's going to be around, who again didn't flash enough for me at Florida. I don't think there's some like he should have been. He should have been a top 10 pick, I think, at this point. But there's a reason why he's not. And these Florida corners coming to the league, there's been a lot of them. And I know you should judge the player based off the name and not the helmet and the tape and all that. But which Florida corner has actually popped since they've come into the league?
It's been a while.
I mean, Hargraves, Tease Tabor, CJ Henderson. I don't know which one.
It just seems a little dicey. And what I saw on tape is it didn't flash. You know, he's got the measurables, but if you're not making plays as many as you should and for a first round pick, I don't know. I gotta be a little hesitant.
But of course, when you bring a guy like that in, unlike the names I just mentioned, you're not coming in expected to be cornerback 1. You're gonna be cornerback 4, maybe cornerback 5. You might not even play much at all, honestly, unless there's injury. So you have a year to sit. And again, if that pick would strictly be you don't believe in either Sean Murphy-Bunting or Jamel Dean, and you're the guy after that, and we have somebody that's been in the system for a year.
Yeah. The curious case of Deebo Samuel, who wants to be traded. And, you know, it was interesting because a lot of people were saying, why would he want to leave San Francisco where he's the focal point of the offense and, he'll eventually get paid as a running back, I guess, and a receiver. And it was interesting to note that he's like, I don't want the ball as much or to be used like I'm using in San Francisco. And that's smart. I mean, if these receivers are getting, $25 to $30 million to be a number one receiver, why would you want to carry the ball 10, 20 games and get your ass kicked? That's going to shorten your career drastically. And if they're thinking about paying him as a running back as opposed to a receiver, that doesn't work in his favor in any way. But the other question is Deebo Samuel, is he worth that much money if he's not carrying the ball 10, 15 times a game?
Yes.
Is he?
Okay. So there's the one season argument because the first 2 years he's a little unhealthy.
Right.
The one season was 1,400 plus receiving yards.
And why was he unhealthy? Because he runs like a freaking train.
Yeah.
When you play that hard, it eventually takes a toll on you. If that's the way you play the game, and God bless him, I think he's one of the greatest players in the game. He's electric, and I love watching that dude play.
Changes games,
literally. But when I watch him smash his helmet into people constantly, I'm like, bro, you're not going to last long in this league doing that.
But he's insightful enough to understand that.
He is, absolutely. I give him credit for that. I think what he's doing is correct, by the way. 100%.
I had these numbers here of his usage. He was been out in 2021 alone. He was used out wide 591 times, in the slot 239 times, and in the backfield 116 times, which has got to be. I don't recall seeing a receiver hybrid like that, unless you want to include Cordell Patterson in there. That's had that many snaps in the backfield where it's already tough. And you mentioned how tough of a runner he is, and because when I first read the Deebo Samuel reports, I probably said, in fact, I told you off air, I was like, I can make the argument, who else was going to unlock that potential and that versatility than Kyle Shanahan? It made no sense on the surface, but when you step back and look at it and you listen to what Deebo said and that he doesn't want to be a running back like that, it does make sense for longevity.
And a lot of people, even though he's not getting the ball as a running back, one of the biggest collisions in football is as a running back picking up a blitzing linebacker. I mean, if you go watch the tape of that, you got a linebacker, let's say a Devin White, it's 6'1", 245 pounds, who runs a 4.4, with a 10-yard run, and you got to sit there on an anchor, and hit that guy. That ain't easy, and it's a violent collision, and you're not carrying the ball or getting it past, but it takes a toll on your body. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, the way he's being used, he's not going to have a very long career.
No, and the receiving position, I think, has become, you can make the argument, maybe the second, third most important position in the league now. You have to have them to win championships. And look at the market that's been going around. Like I've been saying, $30 million for Tyreek Hill. Think about that. $30 million for Tyreek Hill, who in some respects you can make the argument it's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel can do it all. He can line up anywhere and literally do anything, even if he don't wants to. And like I said, I'll never fault somebody for trying to go get the bag while they can. But as we said yesterday, I think we still appreciate the Mike Evans of the world who are not all about that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're so blessed to have these guys as our receivers.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't think that's an accident. You don't draft. There are certain guys I think that if you're a good organization, you stay away from for that reason. You have to have that in your mind right now. You want to draft guys that are team oriented. What are you laughing at?
I'm just scrolling through here and I saw this headline from the New York Post and I had chuckled a little bit. Boy born with 2 penises has the larger one chopped off by doctors.
Well, there's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That, my friends, is the definition of malpractice. Is it not?
They chopped the larger one off.
Whose decision was that?
I don't know.
Like, what the F?
I don't know. I'm going to have to read that story when we're done here, but continue. Sorry,
First
I
of all,
there.
Why are we chopping anything off? I mean, this guy's got a lucrative career in porn ahead of him.
Oh my!
You just took his whole dream of being in the circus away from him. I mean, that guy, he could have been the most famous guy in history. I mean, that is malpractice on so many levels. Whose idea was that?
Oh man! Apparently, somebody read the article, and apparently he couldn't take a piss from the large one. Apparently,
okay.
So there's your reason.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. Let me think it through. What? Again, why not have 2? I mean, let's be a little bit open-minded here. If you could separate those things, maybe that's a good thing. Could he piss through we can break this down now. Could he piss through the other one? I'm sorry. There's so many questions I have at this point. Wow. Is that the first time that's ever?
It's got to be the first time I've ever seen it. Really.
Born with 2 penises.
Born with 2 penises, and you can't piss out of the other.
But you can piss out of one.
Apparently, yeah. One's got to go.
All right. Okay.
I'm not even sure where we were going.
I don't either. You definitely hijacked the show with that one. Ain't no doubt about that one. Let's on that note, let's take a break. Come back. We're gonna hit a couple more topics at the for the end of the show. Elon Musk is making a new bid to buy Twitter. He's upped his bid to buy Twitter. Oh, interesting. We'll hit that and a couple more. Get you set for the fight weekend as well. Tyson Fury weighed in today. This mofo is fat. I don't care what you say. He is not in shape. All right, back in a few. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. the law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Welcome back. JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Medical Center, Golden Diamond Source, and also the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Homeowners insurance rates are going through the roof. I know many of you are experiencing this, so you gotta shop them around. There are still some companies out there that are offering lower rates, and the folks at Italiano Insurance can help you out. So give them a call, and they'll shop all of them for you. If you're going to run around and call 800 numbers here and there, you're going to waste a lot of time. Just call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Go to ItalianoInsurance.com and get their phone number. Give them a call, and a human being will actually answer the phone and tell them, look, my rates are going through the roof. Can you shop them around for me? See if you can find something better. Chances are they can, and maybe save you thousands of dollars. So go to ItalianoInsurance.com, give them a call, tell them JP sent you, and see if you can save some money on that. And you don't have to wait till your year is up. You can do it mid-year, and even if you prepaid, they will refund your money. So don't worry about that. Italiano Insurance will take care of all of that for you. So just give them a call and find out what you can save, because I know it's crazy out there right now. So, and while they're at it, let them shop around your other insurance products as well. They could save you some money as well. They saved me $1,400 on a 6-month auto insurance, and I'm still with that company. I mean, gosh, I probably saved. It's been 2 years now, so probably saved a total of about $4,000 or $5,000 total just in car insurance alone. And a lot of people overpay for car insurance. So again, don't just call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano Insurance, 877-7799, and they'll shop it around for you. Tell them JP saying. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this. The Tom Brady Man in the Arena. The last one is on Tuesday. Rick Stroud evidently got a preview of this and wrote a piece for the Times yesterday. So spoiler alert, shocking development here. There is no talk of why he retired or his decision to come back. So, or any of the dalliances with the Miami Dolphins or any of that shenanigans. Shocking development. But it's entitled The Wheel, and there are a lot of behind the scenes footage and just talk of why, he came to Tampa and his process through 20 and 21 of a plan for the Bucs, and also talks about his internal struggle with continuing to play football and not live up to the standard that Tom Sr. Laid down as a father. Because clearly, when you're the greatest football player ever and saw the responsibilities for your team are on your particular shoulders, the way that he plays the game and prepares for the game, it's hard to be a dad at that level. And I guess in this particular, there's a lot of quotes from the piece. So if you're going to watch it, I don't know if you want to read the piece, because it'll probably be a spoiler for you. So, but I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to hear him talk about that. Because obviously I think that was the biggest reason that he did pull away and then decided to come back. He just feels like if he gets off the hamster wheel, so to speak, that he'll never be able to get back on. So, you heard Gronk say that he thought he was going to take a year off, but I think that was probably the reason that Brady came back, because he felt if he took a year off, he wouldn't be able to come back. And I think that might be fair. What do you think? I mean, it's an interesting conversation to be had.
Yes, I'm ready myself to get past the whole retirement era and enjoy my season here and enjoy the draft. So that's what we're focusing on the draft, JP.
We're on to the draft.
We're on to the draft.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Mentally, I'm on to the draft, but I will enjoy the Man in the Arena, as I've seen all of them. Very well done.
Yeah, I need to catch up on the other. Do I need to see the other ones to see this one? Probably not. It's probably a standalone episode. I would think.
It's probably standalone.
Yeah.
Unless you want to see Patriots, history.
That's the reason I really
years.
haven't dug into that, because, I don't give a shiz about his Patriots history, to be quite honest.
There's some parts that I kind of skipped through or tuned out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
But it is, and again, as much as I hate it as a member of the media, I have to give him kudos. He's been able to control his narrative probably better than any big time sports star in the world. because he really does control his media opportunities. He's out there. He's certainly out there in a lot of different ways, but he controls it all. I mean, he controls the narrative, and you're not going to get a whole lot of open press conference questions for Tom Brady. There'll be, a few, a 5 to 10 minute on Thursdays and a post game. That's all you're going to get.
Yep. Hey, by the way, jumping off gears real quick, because I wanted to get this in here real quick.
Sure.
Because it was trending this morning and I had some thoughts. Are you a Willy Wonka guy? Have you seen both Willy Wonkas?
I saw the original.
You saw the original? You didn't see the second one?
The Johnny Depp's ones?
Yeah.
No. That's another thing. It's like,
Well, we've been debating on Twitter. It's been a
who's
big
the better
debate.
Willy Wonka?
Who's the better Willy Wonka? And everybody is saying Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. The original. It's hard to beat the original. But I heard Johnny Depp was pretty strong.
He was pretty strong. I just had to tell you, that was like the scariest movie for me as a kid.
With Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka?
No, the other one.
With Gene Wilder?
Scary.
Really?
That was a scary movie as a kid.
Well, I was scared by the Wicked Witch of the West. She scared the hell out of me.
I didn't get that. That was
It was that flying monkeys?
No.
Oh, my God. I was terrified of those son of bitches.
Those Oompa Loompas. If you're watching Willy Wonka as a kid at night and you see those freaking orange things popping up on your TV screen, I'm out.
What about the freaking flying monkeys? You ever seen
monkeys?
them? And the green Wicked Witch of the West? Scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. I wanted no part of those flying monkeys. But Willy Wonka, scary? The original Willy Wonka?
Yes. Creepy. Creepy,
yeah, maybe a little. Well, what's creepier than Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka? I mean, I've seen some scenes. He's out there.
He's out and about right now, by the way, in the news.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, there's a lot going on with him. I grew up, he went to a rival high school of mine.
Really?
He went to Miramar when and we're like the same age.
I
And
thought he was from like another country.
No, he was, no, Miramar High School.
So the accent's just fake.
Yeah, it's all fake. Yeah, he was just a stoner. He wasn't very popular, and I had some friends who were friends of his, and I don't even remember him, but evidently some people that graduated did, and he was kind of around, and then
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then he becomes one of the biggest stars in the world.
Interesting. Also,
Big fan of Amber Heard, I see.
Yeah. Also, want to get your thoughts on this. Did you see Aaron Boone and the Yankees, the move they pulled yesterday?
Yeah, what the hell was that all about?
1-0 game in the 8th inning. Runners on second and third. Miguel Cabrera comes up, sitting on 2,999 hits.
You walk him.
And he intentionally walks him.
Of course you do.
For our boy Austin Meadows.
Of course you do.
Who comes up and loops
Flares
it into
one.
center field,
Right.
and they win the
Atta
game.
boy.
But 20,000 people in Comerica Park would show up to see him get his 3,000
effing
hit.
what?
See, that's my opinion. All these people are going after Boone
Oh,
and
my
the Yankees.
God.
I'm sorry. Does he manage the Tigers or the Yankees?
Anybody who thinks that has no idea what this is all. These are the people that think this is all a show. It's just a show. It's like a Broadway. It's mostly, you know what it is? It's wrestling people. They want it all
Shut
scripted.
up.
They want it all scripted. Oh, we gotta have we got to give him the opportunity. I paid my money to see him get his 300 hit.
Oh my
sorry,
goodness. I'm
sorry.
the biggest wrestling fan in the world, and I don't think that.
It's scripted. You want it scripted? He's supposed to not manage his team? I mean, that's the
Apparently,
play.
There's people that are saying, "Oh, this is why baseball's shooting itself in the foot." Why
Oh,
not have you,
Jesus.
Like, come on, you got to win the game.
Stop it. That's a no. In fact, if you did that, you should be fired. If Aaron Boone didn't walk him, you should be fired.
Every other manager would do the same thing.
Hey, that's baseball 101.
For our boy Austin.
First base is open and the best hitter in the history of freaking game who could still mash.
It's lefty righty. That was the whole point. Austin Meadows, we already know can't hit lefties. Why would you go against Miguel Cabrera when you can go up against Austin Meadows?
Of course.
Every manager in baseball is doing that.
I mean, is that even that's not even a conversation. You know nothing about baseball.
It's been a conversation, apparently.
You know nothing about baseball if you think that. I mean, as much as I hate Aaron Boone, and I don't hate Aaron Boone, but as much as we hate the Yankees, I'm not ripping on him for that. I'd rip on him if he did. If he didn't, if he let him hit, I'd rip on him for that.
Fired for that.
He'd be fired for that. Absolutely. That's dumb. All right. Our thanks to Doug Wechter, who joined us. Always entertaining. Told us a great story about how he almost ripped his rotator cuff off trying to hit 90 on the gun. Great stuff as always from him, and a great show. So if you missed any, go back and check it out on the app, FanStream Sports. Download the app. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and watch us each and every day. And please share all of our shows as well. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back Monday morning. See you then.